We all know the bind system, right? Something Sega could perfect and not Spin Master? Well, there was a set of 3 of them released called the God 3, and pretty much they were Bakugan designed to be competitively busted. But the question is, do they live up to their name? To answer that, I will be taking an individual look at each of the 3 BakuTech in the set. Jiba Dragaon, Go Fudo, and Jigen Garyu. Note, I'm new to competitive BakuTech, so I might get some things here wrong, and if I do, correct me in the comments so I can take note for future videos. Also, I don't read Japanese, so if anyone in the comments can read Japanese and help translate each of the cards shown in the video, that would be much appreciated. Jigen Dragaon was the 4th Dragaon in the BakuTech series. As such, Sega decided to give him 4 transformation modes. This makes him a Swiss Army knife of a BakuTech Bakugan. First and second dimensions were really good for both attack and defense, and the other 2 were great for defense and occupancy. Then someone at Sega decided to give it the back half of Jiba Fudo, who I'll talk about later, along with the best attribute in the game. And lo and behold, the birth of Jiba Dragaon. Jigen Dragaon was kinda like a buffed version of Bujin Dragaon, a Bakugan with the front half of Jigen, but a completely unique back half. Not only was it gifted with Jiba's sturdiness, it still kept half of its transformations, mainly the first and third dimensions. So while it did retain its job as an attacker and defender, it also does less with occupancy and everything else. What made Jigen so good was that the 4th dimension had great occupancy, only leaving 4 open spots on a gate card. The only Bakugan that could bypass that were Bakugan from the Municus line, Seis Tavenol, Sanzu Holoboss, Morgmahishus, and a few other Darkus Bakugan. Speaking of Darkus, Jiba Dragaon ditched the Pyrus ability it once had in exchange for Darkus. Darkus was the best attribute in BakuTech because there was a lot of Darkus support in terms of cards, so combine that with the Dragaon line, who already had a crap ton of support, and you got yourself a Bakugan with fantastic card support. Literally, half of the cards would work with it too. Dragaon had the potential to be bad, but it was saved by having better defensive capabilities and a lot of card support. I mentioned earlier about a BakuTech named Jiba Fudo. He was a Subterra bind Bakugan with both parts having a magnet. This double magnet feature made him one of, if not the best defensive Bakugan, only hindered by its attribute, which is meh. But someone in Sega said, hey, this lion, tiger looking thing is broken, what if you make it lose what it was built for the God 3 tech? Go Fudo hindered Fudo from what he was made for, defense, instead of being an attack-defense hybrid with way more metal parts now. Metal parts make a BakuTech pretty spicy and more offensive in a way, so why give it to the tiger-looking thing whose only good gimmick is defense? Also, I believe that Haos is the worst attribute in the game in terms of card support, and that definitely doesn't help it either. Why did you put this in the God 3? Make it shift weight! Anything but give it, like, extra metal parts! And finally, my favorite member of the bind system, Garyu. Garyu doesn't normally come with his actual back part, instead he comes with Go Horus's back part, making his actual name Go Garyu. The guy was made for attack and his gimmick was that he had metal parts to him, but his attacking capabilities were outclassed by Jigen Dragaon. So how did Sega tweak him for the God 3, you may ask? Well, they actually made him balanced. Jiga and Garyu make Garyu, yep, you guessed it, an attack-defense hybrid, and an actually good one at that. It may not have the occupancy that Dragaon had, but it still has occupancy, just only like half the gates card, which is still good I guess. And also Garyu's metal bits on his arms make for great spin blocking too. So Dragaon got the best attribute, Fudo got the worst, and Garyu got the middle of it all. Ventus, from what I heard of, didn't have much use, despite Winto Miru being the anti-meta, but did have some card support, but not much of it. Did the God 3 live up to their name? Not really. The only good Bakugan in the set is Jiba Dragaon because of its attribute and utility, despite having less utility than Jigen. So in conclusion, the only god 3 you should invest in is Jiba Dragaon, and maybe Jigen Garyu if you want a Ventus. But otherwise, use Red Trifalco or Window Miru.